So hey, Marcus Dunstan, Emma Fitzpatrick, Patrick Melton. So game on.
Hi.
You want to start?
So yes, I was going to ask. So co-writing, do you find that you're competitive and try to outdo each other with better kill scenes or things like that?
Well, you know, it's such a collaborative thing that, and we've been doing it so long that we sort of have a back and forth. But a lot of it is though that you'll be thinking about something and you'll get to a scene, you're like, it just feels familiar or whatever, and we'll start sort of riffing on things. And we see more not so much as competitiveness, but as like I think probably trying to make it better. Because we've seen all the horror movies, and you know what's been done before, and so it's just trying to one up things to a certain extent or do something just in a different way, And so obviously the opening scene for this one was very sort of.
It's a dream come true.
Premeditated. Because did everyone say Ghost Ship?
That's what I thought of at first when I saw it. Yeah.
What a great beginning to that movie, and then it kind of
it's
so
not very good.
But it sure started great. Like you're like, whoa, fucking yeah, and so that was a little bit of inspiration here, but it came off a note. So when we started the whole process, we said, here's the story, what we want to do. And they're like, okay, great. Like the studio, the people with the money, you have to listen to a little bit. And they're like, yeah, but let's make some like young, young and sexy, right? Like young, sexy, yeah, young and sexy. And we're like, okay, like we know that version, and it's sometimes not very good. And so we said, well, how long do they have to live? And they're like, oh, we don't care. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be 10 minutes. And so, her and all her friends are gonna get together, and you think it's gonna be, wait, that movie? Oh God! And they're gonna like go out, and they're gonna get caught together, and there's gonna be a little romance, and no. We're gonna dispel that after 10 minutes.
Gonna give herself up to save her.
Like we want people to think, how's the blind gonna get out? Surely she's gonna get out of the thing. Wait, how's she gonna get out? No, she's not gonna get out. Because I love that in Deep Blue Sea. It all sort of goes back to that. Remember that moment like Sam Jackson gonna save the day. We need to bond together. Oh no, he's dead. You're like, wait, oh my God. Because I've seen Jaws 4, and I know you can actually survive being in the mouth of a shark. Mara Van Peebles survives, remember? And so, and you're thinking, surely he can still survive. He's not dead yet. And the other one comes up and rips his head off. And you're like, oh, okay, he's not going to die.
He's probably.
But that was just like, stuff like that's always fun for us, like trying to defy expectation to a certain extent. And just little moments like that, the average film goer may not get or understand or whatever. But the people sort of like grown up on this stuff really get and enjoy.
Being given a certain amount of trust to break the traditional structure of the horror movie, even it's not an opening cameo kill, like I recognize that person from that drama show or whatnot, oh, they're done. No, but to say, no, this isn't a traditional first act. We're going to give you a tease of one, and then completely not only shred the character, shred the plot, and define Emma. Let her be someone that we instantly care about. She's beaten up, she's born under punches, but learns how to protect herself, because the kids, we always can't count on being saved,
Do you guys write from a particular perspective? Like, did you write from hers? Did you write from Arkin's? When you're writing, are you thinking about writing from the perspective of the collector?
Well, this goes back to another fave movie, Wait Until Dark. Arkin's name comes from Alan Arkin playing the Nasty Man in Wait Until Dark, and so this time, well, who's Audrey Hepburn? What if her name was Elena? And then she walked in with the same pixie haircut, and you're like, that's it. That's really where it starts.
Cutting my hair would pay off.
Absolutely. Oh, it was marvelous. So then those voices are kind of shadows of things we loved in movies, and then some of it's straight up wish fulfillment, like taking a cheap shot at a hobo near a burning barrel, perhaps, or just really wanting. It was the first one that had so much despair. It took this father away from his little girl, and it was hopeless at the end. No, this time we wanted to see a bully get his ass kicked.
You guys have worked on many franchises.
Yeah.
So when you sat down to write the collection, what did you take away from your experiences on Feast and Saw and Piranha that you were able to apply to the collection so that you knew that this would work as a sequel to the collector?
Well, we knew what not to do. This was supposed to be a joke, guys. We're aware of some of the shit we've done. But, we actually started with the ending because we knew we were going to get a little bit more, some more money and have more time, which is the most important thing is time, really, in terms of making a horror film, because they're tough to make. It's like comedies and horrors are hard to make, because I don't know if you've ever been in test screenings and it's supposed to be comedy and people aren't laughing. It's like, well, okay, that's not good. So how do we make that better? And that happens with every first cut of a horror movie. It's like, wah, wah, like, oh, that's supposed to be scary. Why is this movie 3 hours long? And so we started with, we wanted it, and you guys have seen it. We wanted it to end with the collector in the box, having symmetry to the first film. First film ended with Arkham in the box, it ends with the collector in the box. And so it was all about working back to that moment of how, because this guy's pretty savvy, and we're going to go to his house. And so how does Arkin finally one up him? Because he's always been the fly in the collector's ointment. The first movie was a home invasion movie. If you'd have taken out Arkin from it, would have just been a home invasion movie. We all seen home invasion movies. So our idea with the first one was, let's add an X factor to that, and it's the person who is there, who's very savvy and able, that is aware of what's going on, and he has to sort of like work his way in that world. And so so in ending with Arkin finally winning, we wanted it to be quite a journey for him. So that's why he gets completely fucked up and has to break his arm and re-break his arm and do the thing. It's like, and that was just was part of the journey. And and there's one-upsmanship in terms of the first movie, what worked in the first movie, and not repeating oneself, because we've all seen great first movies, and then you see the sequel and you go, okay, it's bigger and louder and badder, but it's the same fucking plot. Like, come on, you're doing like the same beats but different versions of the beats that we already saw. Like The Hangover 2, not to pick on it, it's like, oh, it's the same joke but like 30 degrees different, and it just isn't particularly satisfying. So for this one, we tried to one-up it and just kind of make it a different kind of movie, because when we compare them, we wanted to do something that was more action-based as opposed to,
slasher. Where the kill is quick, brutal, and about pain in a way. Whereas this one, if you have the mechanism of action in your photography and in your choreography and with the acting, it encourages the ballet. It allows the sequence to keep going, and suspense is you borrow that suspense from the thriller, and then you give a little bit of action from the more ballet camera movement inspired bits, and then the horror movie's waiting just around the corner for like, all right, but when they die, they got to die by horror movie rules, and then boom, that happens, and that felt nice and satisfying. So maybe like the safe printable version, to not give away like the ending of The Collector in the Box, was chasing satisfaction at the end of this one versus that despair of the first. And then the biggest pit that we wanted to avoid too was have actors that people would believe and care for no matter what. We've been part of films where you walk in and you've written this part for somebody, and it's every part is part of a chain that has to hold up the whole ship. Like, hey, I met so-and-so on an airplane, wants to be in the movie, good luck. You're like, ah! and that's when then you meet someone like Emma, who just instantly says, wow, this character can be more than what is suggested on a page. Let's let the camera hang on this woman and see what her eyes tell us. And boy, you saw the savagery, you saw hurt, and you saw anger. And bless it, it was so cool.